Hi, it's Dr. Soffler, and we're about ready for our cardboard sukkah challenge. We're going to be building a sukkah out of cardboard and not much more than that. Before we get started, I want to do a quick review about what makes up a sukkah and what a sukkah is and what it does. Then I want to do a quick introduction of our rules for what building the sukkah will be today. And then I want a couple rules about how we'll do it together. And then I'm going to ask you a question that hopefully afterward you will have thought about during your process and you'll have some great answers for. So first, let's review what a sukkah is and what are the rules. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share the sound. And we're going to hear about sukkah. And I want you to notice in this video that the sukkahs that were built are very, very different than the sukkah you might have in your backyard. I want you to take a look at them and think about all the different ways that they built sukkahs.
A sukkah.
Sukkah.
Well, during the holiday of Sukkot, according to the Jewish law, you're supposed to build like a hut and live in it for the holiday of Sukkot.
This sukkah behind me is composed of signs written by real homeless people in California. I think this thematically really relates to the holiday of Sukkot. We leave our permanent home and we move into a temporary dwelling, which raises questions of what exactly is really permanent in our lives.
There's a lot of rules.
The most essential element of the sukkah is called the schach, which is the roof.
The material that covers the roof has to have grown in the ground, but no longer be growing in the ground.
You have to be able to see the stars through the roof.
Since we're in New York City, I might just say, see the sky.
But it has to provide more shade than sun.
And allow for rain to come in.
It also can't be hammered in with nails. Can't use anything metal on the roof.
It's also supposed to guide the eye towards the sky or towards God.
You have to have at least 2.5 walls.
It could be built on a whale.
You could build your walls out of elephants.
On the back of a camel, but we didn't utilize either of those.
To us, a sukkah is a place where you take a moment to go inside a temporary structure where you can look out and reflect on the world and the life outside with the people that you care about most.
All right. So they described some of the rules of a sukkah. One is there's a special roof and it has to be in a certain way, right? Do you remember the things that they said that the roof has to do? It has to be made out of things that grew in the ground that are no longer living in the ground. You have to be able to see the sky or the stars through it, but it also has to let in rain, no metal, and it has to have more shade than sun. So these are some rules that I'm going to give you, a roof material that meets that. So it's hard to see because my background keeps blurring it out, but the background, my background has like corn stalks and stuff. I'm going to be giving you rolls of sock that are plant material and are bound with string, and that would definitely let in rain and that you can see through and are still shady and all the good things. So I'm going to give you the roof. But let's talk about some of the other building rules. So we definitely don't have any camels, whales, or elephants around. So we're going to be building ours on the ground. And they're supposed to be outside, but because of logistics, we may be building inside. So if you hear about building in the gym, that's where it's gonna be. So the other rules are, it has to have 2.5 walls. But that half wall has some extra rules on it. So we're just gonna say it needs to have 3 walls. So your sukkah needs to have 3 walls. It needs to be tall enough for you to sit in it. So you should be able to sit comfortably in your sukkah with 3 walls on it. It should be able to hold up the roof. And you're only going to have the materials that I give you. And so, being Dr. Soffler, I'm not going to make it easy. I want you to have a challenge. So you're going to have some other materials, or the materials that I give you are not going to make it super easy to build a sukkah. You're going to need to be creative engineers. So only using the materials that I give you. All right. How about some rules for us as people working on the sukkah? So one is we need to have walking feet. Sometimes it gets super exciting. It also can get kind of loud. So we're going to make sure that we keep our bodies as calm as possible, even if it's exciting. We're also going to work collaboratively with the people in our group, meaning that when we have different ideas, we're going to talk about them. We might talk about what works in our idea, what maybe didn't work in our idea, and we'll find things that we can all agree to build. And so we're going to work collaboratively with the people in our group. And at the very end, we're going to clean up. And this is really important. I know that sometimes it feels like after you've built something, a lot of the fun is like, wild knocking it down and giving it a big push. But we're not going to do that. If everybody who built a sukkah today just like goes wild smashing their sukkah, things are going to get broken. People might get hurt. We're definitely not going to do that. We're going to ask you to take the saw and roll it up nicely. It rolls really beautifully, and hand that to some like a grown-up so that they can be put away and saved for next time. You'll calmly take your sukkah apart and put the cardboard into the recycling, because we saved that cardboard from recycling so we could learn with it, and then it's going to go into recycling. So we got a good learn out of it before it goes to its recycling destination. So those are some of the rules for us as participants. Now, finally, I have my question for you. The real big idea I want you to be thinking about the whole time is cause and effect. It means something happens, and then something happens as a response, right? There's a cause, an initial event, and an effect. What happens because of that event? And there's lots of cause and effect in building your sukkah. You might find that when you build something, it falls down. These things happen. You need to think about, what was the cause? Why did it fall down? The effect is that it fell. The cause, you might not know yet. But at the end, I'm going to start asking you, and your other teachers are going to start asking you, what causes and effects did you see? Some of these causes and effects might not even be in engineering. You might have a cause and effect in how it feels to build a sukkah, or how it feels to sit in a sukkah, or how the sukkah makes you think about things. In those other sukkahs in New York City, the rabbi was talking about how the sukkah made of signs from people who are homeless, it makes them really think about what's permanent in life, the cause and effect of that sukkah design. So I want you to think about cause and effect in engineering, in making your sukkah, and maybe cause and effect in what a sukkah actually does for us as people. All right. Your teachers or other folks might give you more instructions too, but that's the big stuff. I'm really excited about seeing what's going to happen. Good luck.